Hey guys, welcome to the video tutorials of codeandtest.com. In this video I'll talk about waterfall model. Okay, waterfall model is a sequential design process, okay, in which progress is downwards. Waterfall model is a sequential design process in which progress is downwards. There is no upward flow, just downwards, hence the name waterfall. Okay, this diagram shows the phases involved in a traditional waterfall model. They are analysis, design, coding, testing and implementation. Okay, and in this waterfall model one should move to the next phase only when its previous phase is completed. For example, you start with analysis and progress to the next phase, that is design, only when analysis phase has been completed. Similarly, you progress to coding only when designing phase is completed. Okay, flow is downwards, it's not upwards. Let me give you a brief description of the phases in a waterfall model. These are same as the phases in a fundamental SDLC process which I explained in the last video. Okay, first we'll see analysis. This phase is to analyze the system, gather requirements. If the requirements are complex, we need to break them down into parts to understand. Okay, now this phase involves with noting down the requirements given by the customer and understanding them. Okay, normally there has to be a lot of communication between client and the team to understand the requirements. This requirement gathering is one of the most crucial aspects in any SDLC process, not just waterfall model, in any SDLC model or process. Okay, usually what happens, communication gaps or misunderstandings in this phase leads to bugs in the software. Okay, so when the business requirements are clear and perfect, a business requirement specification document, that is BRS, is prepared, which has all the requirements agreed by the client and the team. Only then one should move to the next phase. Okay, and the next phase is design. After the requirement specifications are determined, problem solving and planning takes place. Okay, the process is elaborated and software architecture is divided into components called modules. What I mean by software architecture here is the overall structure of the software. Okay, in this phase the overall structure of the software is divided into components called modules, and each module is again divided into several units. The user interface screens are designed. Okay, and in this phase functional requirement specification document is prepared. This document includes all the functionalities of a software in detail, and backend and that is data structure is designed to store and organize data. Okay, so the next phase is coding. The actual programming code is written here. The purpose of programming is to create a program that performs specific operations. Tables in database are created. Okay, and some call this phase as implementation because the software design in the designing phase is implemented in this phase. Okay, that's why some call it implementation. One should go to the next phase, that is testing, only when the coding for the entire software is completed. And the next phase is testing. Here software is tested at various levels to check for errors and also to check whether the software is meeting the requirements it was developed for. Okay, so software is tested at various levels and different types of testing takes place, like unit testing, component testing, low level integration testing, system integration testing. Okay, and so on, and user acceptance testing and so on, right? So the next one is implementation. Here the software is deployed at the client's end. That is, software is used in real time and it runs the actual business. Okay, and software is maintained, which is an important aspect of SDLC. And in future, if there are any changes or improvements in a software, it will be implemented by updating the software or by developing a new software and integrating it with the existing one. All right, so that were the phases of that was about phases involved in a waterfall model. Now let's see advantages and disadvantages of waterfall model. First, advantages. The faults in requirements will be detected during one of the initial phases. Okay, so because waterfall model requires the fulfillment of one phase before proceeding to the next level, isn't it? Therefore, if there is a fault in requirement, it will be detected during one of the initial phases, okay, and will be corrected. This comes very handy. Okay, and the next advantage is strong documentation is available. A lot of paperwork is done in waterfall model, so there is a strong documentation. So when new users enter the project, it's easier for them to carry on the work from where the others have left. Okay, so now disadvantages of waterfall model. Waterfall model assumes no alteration to occur once the process has started. Okay, say client changes the requirements of the project. Waterfall model doesn't work well in such situations, as it assumes no alterations, no changes to occur once the process has started. Okay, for example, we are in coding phase and client changes requirements, then a number of steps would go to waste, because we have to stop where we are and we should go back to analysis phase, get the new requirements, analyze them, understand the requirements, and come to the next phase, that is designing phase, and design the new system or the new software. Okay, and then start coding. Okay, and number of steps would go to waste here, and we should start everything all over again. So this is a waste of time, money, and resources. And the next disadvantage is huge amount of time is wasted. Okay, say we are in designing phase, the designers or the architects are busy designing the UI screens and the data structure. Okay, what are developers and testers doing? Their time is wasted. Okay, so similarly, when the software is being coded in coding phase, what are testers doing? Their time is wasted. Okay, so a huge amount of time is wasted. And the next disadvantage is testing phase comes quite late. Yes, in waterfall model, testing phase comes very late. It's better to test a lot sooner and find defects rather than testing late. Okay, because the sooner we find defects, the easier it is for us to fix them. Okay, so that was about advantages and disadvantages, the main advantages and disadvantages of waterfall model. Okay, and what I explained here was a pure traditional waterfall model. Okay, where the progress is downwards, it's not upwards. These days you find many modified waterfall models where the progress is bent upwards also. Okay, so that was about a pure waterfall model. I keep saying pure waterfall model. So anyways guys, so that was about waterfall model. Thanks for watching the video, and see you in the next video.